Help wanted for United Airlines, vaccinated only. United Airlines announced today that it will require employees to get COVID-19 vaccinations no later than October 25, 2021, or they will risk being terminated. United became one of a string of companies recently laying down a mandate that their employees must get vaccinated against COVID-19. Is this legal? Can an employee be fired for refusing to comply? Is there a difference between an airline versus a store versus other kinds of employment situations? Keith Wilkes, a labor and employment partner, shareholder at the national law firm of Hall Estel, has been fielding calls from companies trying to get answers to the legal questions regarding whether or not United, or any company for that matter, can mandate vaccines for workers. Wilkes answers some important questions of what makes United's announcement unique from other companies that took similar actions this week. United Airlines announced today that it is joining a growing list of companies telling their employees to get vaccinated for COVID-19 or lose their jobs. United's announcement marks the first major U.S. airline to implement such a mandate for its 80,000 employees, who will have until late October to provide proof of vaccination or, with a few narrow exceptions, face termination, Wilkes said. Here is more of what Wilkes had to share in an interview. Other large non-healthcare providing employers, such as Google and Facebook, made similar announcements this week. What, if anything, is significant about United joining the ranks of mandating vaccinations for its employees? Wilkes, in addition to being the first in an industry that millions of people and companies in the U.S. rely upon each day, the United workforce, unlike tech companies and banks, is heavily comprised of union employees. Through collective bargaining agreements and federal labor laws, union members most often find themselves afforded greater protections against new policies being imposed by their employers that may impact whether the employees keep their jobs. How is United able to impose the new vaccination mandate on its union workforce? Wilkes, 3 of the largest unions at the airline appear to be lining up behind the company and the mandate. The Association of Flight Attendants, the Airline Pilots Association and the Teamsters all issued statements to their members suggesting that each of the unions support and will accept the mandate. This is rather remarkable because unions, in general, are loath to allow new policies imposed by management without first bargaining for such a change. It is perhaps noteworthy to mention that 80–90% of the union members are already vaccinated. As such, an overwhelming number of the membership in each union most likely favor the mandate out of concern for their own health, and the health of their families. Significantly, at least 2 of the unions noted that recent court decisions lead them to believe employers would prevail over legal challenges to the vaccination mandate. Has there been any backlash to the announcement? Wilkes, there is always backlash, but whether there is significant resistance is another story. We do know that International Association of Machinists, which represents over 1/3 of United ground employees, from ramp workers to reservation agents, is not jumping in as quickly with the other unions in announcing support. The Machinists announced it encourages vaccinations, but is waiting to hear from its membership before weighing in. Do employees who are adamantly opposed to COVID-19 vaccinations have any options when it comes to employer-mandated vaccinations? Wilkes, United and other employers are required to follow federal law, which provides 2 limited exceptions. If an employee can provide proof of religious or medical reasons for not getting vaccinated, they may be able to avoid being fired. Faith-based and medical-related exemptions are considered on a case-by-case basis. This is usually an interactive process between an employee and employer and does not end with a simple declaration by an employee that, "it's against my religion," or the like. United, by example, will grant exemptions to those who can establish they qualify, but those employees will be required to wear masks at all times while on the job at the airline. Those who are just simply opposed to or do not believe in vaccinations, or who instead believe one of the any number of conspiracy theories out there against COVID-19 vaccinations will either get vaccination or lose their jobs.